afternoon, I'm super, super excited because the art of storytelling, so many of you have come up to me and asked me to tell particular stories. You heard them online. I love the Tonka toy story. I love the Winners Never Quit story. I love the grandmother story. And most people think that telling a great story is just something that I can do. And while I have a gift of oration, there's a formula. Would you like to know it? Yes, yes? Now, let me just say this. Let me first make it very clear that everyone in this room is a speaker. You guys get that? Do you have an idea that you want someone to get at times? You really want them to get you? Yes? You're a speaker. You got a project you want someone to understand and get on board with? You're a speaker. You have a business you would like to succeed? You're really a speaker. Let's not mention platform speaking. It's just any business, you're a speaker. Anything. No one can market you and your project better than you. And you got to do it through your language. Who is the gentleman who said, I said one line and that's all he needed and he could have left A-Fest with it? Yes. Last night he goes, you said one line and that's all I needed. That's all I need. I could have just left A-Fest. So next time when you come, you can just give us one line. I was like, as far as I flew, I'm going to give you a little more than that. But thank you so much. And that one line was, the distance between you and every single thing that you need and want is what? Your language. And when you get that, it is so, so true. And when you begin to mind your words, field your words, wordsmith your words, all of a sudden you'll see that you will stop hunting for people and you will become an attraction magnet because your language. So today I thought we'd play with language. Vishen said to me yesterday, he said, I did that thing you taught us last year. I was speaking and I paused, I slowed down, I did verbal highlights. He goes, I can tell the difference. So, which is great. You can immediately apply the things that I'm going to teach you today. There's so much that I have to teach you that we only have 50 minutes. What the content, I'm a content machine, especially around the art of moving people, the art of inspiring people, the art of enrolling people, the art of connecting with people, the art of building loyalty in a group of people. That's my specialty. Now, I should not be teaching about a lot of things. Let's be clear. But I should be teaching about speaking and connection. Like, I get that. It took a while for me to even accept that that's what I should be teaching on because it was so easy for me. So I got that. So today, I'm going to give you a smidgen. I'm going to give you the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg. May I do that? It's not the tip of the iceberg. It's the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to come. For those of you who've already been in my suite with me, you know that there's always more. And then there's more. And just when you got sleepy, and then there's more. And so, yes, for those of you who want more, there'll be ways where I'll serve you more. I'll tell you at the end ways where we can play together. I'm doing one more sweet meeting this evening. And for the radical people that'll be staying over tomorrow that may have some time, if we really run out of space, then I think I may do something tomorrow. And I'll figure out with Roger, because I really want you to play with Roger. I love him. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. What time you might get back, and we'll do that for those of you not leaving until Tuesday. So we'll work it all out. But today I want to focus on really the art of telling a great story and understand that your stories are literally the vibration that brings any and everything else to life. In Africa, before they could study out of books, before they were authorized to study in books, they had griots. And griots were the people in the village that would simply share the history, teach the history to the children through storytelling. Storytelling has been the glue that's kept us together. We minimize storytelling now, and yet it's that very thing that brings life. It's in the stories that I shared yesterday. It's in the story that I shared on day 0, on the bonus day. It's in the story that you felt connected to me. In the content, you learn from me. But in the story, you bonded with me. You guys get that? Yes, yes? So you want your consumer, your family, your children, your friend, your spouse, your next, whoever your next might be, to bond with you through your stories. So let's up-level your stories. Now, as a speaker, because who's a speaker? Say, I am. Who's a speaker? Okay. So as a speaker, I love it. Baby said, I am. So as a speaker, your job is to find the content, and I want you to, on a piece of paper, I want you to make a line. Just draw a line, just straight up and down. Draw a line, okay? Then I want you to go over a little space, and I want you to draw another line. Then I want you to go over a little space, and I want you to draw another line. So 3 lines, right, perfect, like 3 pillars. So on each line, I want you to write my content. So turn it sideways and write content. On the next line, write my services, product, whatever. On the next line, I want you to write my education. So content, services, education. This is just that thing you do, right? Now, I want you to draw an arch from the first line to the second line. Make an arch at the top. You guys got it? Then I want you to draw an arch from the second line to the third line, okay? Now, on top of each arch, I want you to write my story. I'm going to show it. And the reason why I didn't do a PowerPoint for this is because then you just take a picture of it or just look at it. I want you to draw it yourself so it can be cemented at a different level of learning. Does that make sense? When you do the work, you do your heavy lifting, you build your muscles. Yes, yes? Okay. So now what I had you just draw is in any conversation, you can follow this format anywhere, in any conversation, in any presentation. How many of you are actual platform speakers or you want to become a platform speaker? Raise your hand. Okay, so this is it's for everyone, and I want you to think about this as a speech. So for everyone, the content, those pillars that I just gave you, that's the content of what you're doing. That's the sales, that's the girth, that's the business. That's the necessary meat that people need to have to make a decision. Make sense? That arc right there, that story, that's your glue where they build relationship with you. Make sense? So you want to know how to make it happen, follow that framework. Give them some of me, give them some content, what I'm talking about, then give them some story. Give them some content, then give them some story. Give them some content, and I always end people in their heart space versus their head space. So I always end, now I may not end with a full-on story, but I may end with like a little trickle of a story, just an experience. Does that make sense, you guys? You may have seen someone on stage, and they did a story, but it didn't connect to anything. Like, well, what that got to do with the price of cheese? Right? Have you ever had that experience? Or they did a story that was distracting. It's like, now how does that connect with, how many of you guys have had that experience? Okay, you don't even know what's happening to you, but every time that happens, it decreases their credibility in your eyes. The opposite happens when the story is a bridge, right above the lump that says story, right, bridge. The story is a bridge between content. Now, I'm giving you guys formula now. I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'm telling you first so you understand. Now we're going to talk about what a story needs to have in it, okay? Everyone can't tell a story. Most people tell stories when the power, and I want you to write this down, the power is when you show a story. The reason why, for those of you who've done things with me, you feel like you're in the story with me, is because I didn't tell you the story. I showed you the story. It's more difficult to do. It requires more skin in. In 2007, I went to Oprah with my grandmother. I figured my grandmother picked cotton when she was a little girl, so she should be the person to accompany me to Oprah. I could take one guess, and I chose Grandma. When Grandma went to, now, Grandma's feisty, you gotta know. She's 85 years old, and I almost couldn't take her to Vegas because they needed the approval early, but Grandma wouldn't return my call. And when I finally got to return my call, she said, baby, I didn't answer your call because I don't pick up my phone when I'm in Vegas. That's Grandma. So Grandma and I go to Oprah, and on the first day, now Grandma's telling everyone she's on her little cell phone. Grandma still talks loud on her cell phone because Grandma can't understand why there's no cord. So Grandma talks loud. Yeah, I'm on my way to Chicago to visit Oprah with my grandbaby. She's on Oprah. What's your grandbaby doing? Right, okay. Well, we're going to stay at the Omni Hotel where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay. My grandmother would watch Oprah every day, and it says, guests stay at the Omni Hotel where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay. So my grandmother believed the whole name was the Omni Hotel where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay. Like, that's the name of the hotel. So she's calling everybody, and my grandmother's friends have old names. Mabel Jean, yes, I'm on my way to Chicago with my grandbaby. We're going to stay at the Omni Hotel. Where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay. You ain't never heard of that. They don't have that down there. All day long, Grandma's on the phone calling everybody. I'm on my way to, hold on, that might be Oprah. All day long. We get to the hotel, and I have to go have a meeting with the other teachers of The Secret and Rhonda Byrne and the producer from Oprah about the show the next day. And when I get back to the room, my grandmother opens the door and says, baby, this lady came, and she asked me for something called a turn down. I asked her that cost. And when she said no, I said, well, come on in and turn down. She said, baby, you don't need to order no dessert because they left some chocolate on your pillow for you. So I go in, have a great evening with my grandmother. The next day, I get a call, and it says, Miss Nichols, the Harpo Inc. limo is here to pick you up. The call. I've been waiting 15 years to get this call. To me, the highest level of acknowledgement in media is to be invited to the Oprah Winfrey Show. And here I was with my grandma on my way. I grabbed my purse, I grabbed my coat, I'm ready to go out the door, I'm ready to go to the Oprah Show. My grandmother says, baby. Now you have to know she starts every sentence with baby. You'd like to think because it's intimate, but it's because she got a lot of grandkids. I figured that out, and everybody's baby. Baby, you need to go make your bed. Scooby-Doo. So I go, and I make my bed up. Okay. I go, grab my jacket again, grab my purse again, ready to go out the door, put on my heels, I'm ready to go. She says, oh, baby. And she had a little attitude and just a tone, slightest tone, like, what's that about, Grandma? We about to go see Oprah. Baby, go wipe out the sink basin. Wipe out the sink basin? Scooby-Doo. I wipe out the sink basin. Wipe it out good, baby. Okay. I said, Grandma, no disrespect, because you got to, when you question my grandmother, you got to proceed the question with no disrespect. That's how you keep all 32. Amen. Amen. Yes, yes? I'm just saying, in my household. So I said, Grandma, no disrespect, but why am I making the bed and wiping out the sink basin at the Omni Hotel where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay? I'm a guest, Grandmama. I'm a guest. She said, keep wiping. I'll tell you in a minute. I wipe. I go into the living room. Now I'm just perplexed. Before we leave the lady a tip. I said, I just did her job. Leave the lady a tip. So I go in, I pull out $3. She said, don't be cheap, baby. You make a lot of money. I go a little deeper and pull out a 10. She ain't got nothing to do. But but I give a 10. My grandmother looks at me. She says, I said, Grandma, why did I make the bed and wipe the sink basin and leave her a tip? She said, because your great-great-grandmother was a day worker. She said, and when people knew she was coming, they'd leave their rooms extra nasty. But you're not going to do that, baby. She said, and you left her a tip because when your great-great-grandmother got a tip, we got to eat meat that day. She said, you might be staying at this fancy hotel, the Omni. She said it every time, y'all, where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay. She said, and you might be going to visit Oprah. She said, and you might be walking on this plush carpet. That's what you think you're doing. But you're not really walking on this plush carpet. And you're not walking on those fancy red bottom seal sole shoes you got. She said, you walking on the shoulders of your ancestors. You walking on the shoulders of people who will never stay at the Omni Hotel. What a guest of Oprah Winfrey stay. She said, and they knew that they would live and die without ever staying here. But they were okay with that. They was cleaning the room in hopes that you would come one day. She said, so baby, you're going to do right by them. And you're going to do right by me. She said, now go on, get your purse and your jacket and let's go see Oprah. And I walked out the door somehow knowing in that moment that Oprah was the cherry on top of my cake. But that my grandmother, that lesson was my cake. How many of you were at the Omni Hotel where the guests of Oprah Winfrey stay with me? How many of you were with me? How many of you saw me making the bed, wiping out the sink basin? How many of you felt the energy going through your soul as my grandmother told me about my ancestors? How many of you felt the responsibility on your life through my story? Yes, yes? How many of you can now, you'll never say Omni Hotel the same, number one, right? Right? And how many of you feel a little more conviction around how you may treat staff at a hotel now? I share that story all over the world, and people come to me, and I don't share it for that reason. I share it because it's a great story of life, lesson learned. But the 45-degree angle is that now we're all, the people who choose are treating the service staff better because of grandmama's story with me. So I share that story with you to show you a show me story. Right? Show you a show me story. I'm going to, in a few minutes, I'm going to have someone share a little something, then I'm going to transform it from tell to show as well. Because I like showing you organic change right there in the moment, because then you see the power of coaching. You guys get that? So in a show me story, you have to take risk. In a show me story, you have to tell me what's going on in your head. You want to write this down. In a show me story, you have to tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling, show me the perplexity that's going on in your mind. Don't tell me you were angry. Say, I could feel the steam leaping off of my skin. I felt like I was breathing fire. I couldn't see it, but I felt it. My heart burned. My soul churned. And I felt like I can push a bull forward. Show me you were angry. Don't tell me you're angry. To me, it's very lazy. And we speak very lazy. The fastest way to get to the end. Unpack it is what I call it. Unpack your feelings. Unpack your thoughts. Show me what you're thinking. Put me right there with you. Vina has been telling everyone I'm going to do this one particular story. And it's because she loves it. Now, she's heard it several times. But because I show her the story, she feels like she's taking a journey with me. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like you say, let's go again. Let's go again. And you want your audience to say, let's go again. Take me with you again. Anywhere. Do you see that? But you have to make a part of you available to your audience, available to, and when I say audience, audience of 1, audience of 3, audience of your children. You have to make a part of you available that you normally wouldn't make available. You have to surrender it. You have to come with these 4 things. Now, I'm going to give you this, but you ain't going to get this until you're on the plane on the way home. Some of y'all, you're going to be next week. You're going to be in the middle of something. You have to come to every conversation with nothing to hide. Nothing to protect. Nothing to prove. And nothing to defend. Nothing to hide, nothing to protect, nothing to prove, and nothing to defend. Can you come in full service? Can you come in full transparency? Can you tell me what you think, what you're thinking? Show me what you're thinking. Can you? Are you willing? Are you willing to be emotionally butt naked talking about a conversation that's business? And not in a way that's inappropriate, but in a way that shows me you are the right fit for me. As my son was 8 months old, and as my son and I sat on the couch, he laid down on his back, I'm sitting on the couch, and I realized I had hit rock bottom. I didn't know what rock bottom looked like, but I knew this had to be it because there was nowhere for me to go. I sat there perplexed, asking myself, how did I get here? When did I get here? How long have I been here? And how the hell can I get out? Anybody been there? A story will reach out and grab your audience, and it will show them themselves in you. I sat on the couch that day and I made a decision. I made a decision that this would be the last time I'm here. I made a decision that I'm moving from optional, I sure would like to be successful, to non-negotiable. I made a decision that day. I made a decision that enough was enough. I was tired of being tired. I was tired of being sad. And I was tired of being broke. And I was tired of being broken. I was just tired of all of this. I was ready for something barely recognizable. Anybody been there? Did you hear yourself in that part? A story will make a part of you available and call your audience to unleash something in them that they didn't even give you permission to touch. Whew. You want to be riveting? You want to be memorable? You want your USP, your unique serving proposition, to leap out and grab someone? You show them you. Don't tell them about you. You show them you. And it's not about giving inappropriate information. It's not about taking it to a place that it doesn't need to go. You can do this with anything. See, because when I decided to build my business as a businesswoman, I decided that I wanted to create a company that produces transformation around the world, did training and development for entrepreneurs, and gave them something that they didn't have, gave them leadership, gave them direction, but held their hand as they went. Why? Because, see, as I built my business, I was lonely. As I built my business, I said, am I an entrepreneur or a lonelypreneur? See, as I built my business, there were more question marks than periods. As I built my business, I spent a lot of money wrong. And so I was committed. If I can eliminate an entrepreneur spending a lot of time and a lot of money and having a lot of stress, then I'll be their coach and I'll help them with that. That they shouldn't go through what I went through. It's a business conversation where I put my personal story in it. Do you guys get that? In everything you do, I need to feel your why. In everything you do, I need to feel your why. Because your why is going to help me with my why on why I choose you. For my partner, to invest in you. I got to tell you, when I was raising money for motivating the teen spirit, I have a teen company that teaches teens how to fall madly in love with themselves and how to make integrity-based decisions. We work with over 250,000 teens so far in over 14 countries, and we've prevented on record over 3,053 teen suicides. That's what I'm born to do, by the way. That's what I'm born to do. That's what I'm born to do. And back in 1997, I was raising capital. I raised $532,000 in investor dollars for that company. And I was doing my thing and talking about the passion. And I'm telling them about what I'm going to do. And then I talked about my teen life. And I talked about the fact that I had great parents. I had a great brother. But I was confused. And even though I was Miss Social Butterfly on the inside, I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And I had tried to figure out, how can I be liked? How can I be liked? And so I was popular, but I wasn't happy. And this gentleman said afterwards, he said, look, he said, I know you're looking for investors. He said, I don't have children. My wife and I have never decided to have children. We don't even know if we like children. He said, but I'm going to invest in your company because I believe in you. I believe that story made me believe you're going to do it. He said, so I'm going to invest $25,000 in your company. And I don't even know if I'm going to get it back. But I like your story. This guy was an engineer, so there wasn't a lot of emotion that he was throwing out. Like, he was just like very logical. I'm making a logical decision that I like your story. The distance between you and everything you need is your story. So now write this down, dip theory. In the dip theory, now this is a different kind of message. I'm not just doing inspiration for you guys now. I can live in inspiration all day long, but please trust and believe, I am a coach. I'm a trainer. So I'll do inspiration all day long. I love it. But what I like to do is give you techniques, tools and techniques, so that it moves you from where you are to that needlepoint move. That needlepoint move will get you to where you want to be, one needlepoint move at a time. Yes, yes? Yes. So now I'm inside moving your needle around your education. So I know you guys go, I want her to make me emotional. No. I'm going to teach you logically, because that's what got me to this place right here in my life. So there's a blend, but you got to know the blend. Is that okay with you guys? So dip theory. I want you to take your pen, and I want you to make a big V on your page. I'm going to show you right now how you can make a 2-minute interview get stretched to a 10-minute interview. I'm going to show you how, when Oprah's producer called me, by the way, when national television calls you, you have 12 minutes to impress them on average. Per Oprah's producers, per Larry King's producers, and per extra. So those are pretty good resources. I say let's go with 12 minutes, right? You have 12 minutes to entertain them, to impress them. If you haven't done it in 12, don't try to play cleanup, just let it go, right? But you got 12, right? So let me show you how I took a 12-minute conversation and made it a 2-hour conversation with Oprah's producers. Let me show you how I took a 5-minute conversation on extra and made it into 3 appearances. Let me show you how I completely disarmed Larry King. Caught him by surprise. He was like, whatever. So it's called the dip theory. Okay, write that across the top, the dip theory. So on the dip theory, I'm going to tell you the formula first, and then I'm going to do it for you. Is that okay with you guys? Okay, and I want you to start practicing this. So the dip theory is on the top left-hand side of that big V, right? The upper left-hand corner. I want you to write who I am today, the highlights, who I am today. So some of you saw the video of me the other day. We were going to play it today. It didn't happen. You saw the video of me. The video of me is who I am today. So that's normally what introduces me, and that's the hype part. Your hype part is your resume, the accolades, the things people would say about you when they're introducing you. Does that make sense? The highlights of your life. It's the bomb.com, your bragging rights sheet. Whatever your bragging sheet is, that's the upper left-hand corner. Yes? Okay. The dip in the middle, all the way down to the center. That's your dark point, your dark point, a dark point in your life. Underneath that, the struggle. Write that. Underneath that, what I had to overcome. Underneath that, where I once was. Any way you need to look at it. I just want to give you a lot of sentence stems so you get it. Does that make sense? And then the upper right-hand corner, the lessons I learned, why I'm different today, my life mission now. The dip theory will get you So many extended interviews, you cannot believe it. The dip theory is what will make your audience fall in love with you. The dip theory is why those of you who do love me, some of y'all don't, I know y'all waiting on me to get off stage, but like she is so intense. And I am, get over it. So the dip theory, though, is where you fell in love with me. The dip theory. It's not just the education, it's the dip theory. It's the fact that I can stand watching the dip theory at work. So I've been on Oprah. My brand last year touched 36 million people. I'm so grateful. I have 6 bestsellers under my name. My company is one of the fastest growing self-development companies in the industry. I'm excited about that. I'm the only woman in the self-development industry to have received $1 million to write one book. The last woman before me that received that was Hillary Clinton. I'm so excited. Upper left-hand corner. Got that? But let me tell you why. Because there was a time when I went to the ATM, and in order to get $20 out, I had to what? Have $20 in. And I had $11.42 in the bank. And I had an 8-month-old son. And his father had just been sentenced to 64 years in prison. And I looked at my future, and I said, unless I get radical, unless I become non-negotiable, this is going to be an ugly journey. More for him than me. I looked at my life and I said, what if my past does not equal my future? What if I can create it? What if I stop keeping score? What if I gave Lisa 1,000 second chances and every time I got to 999 I pressed reset? What if? What if? What if I'm willing to be radical? I messed up a lot, y'all. I made a lot of horrible mistakes. But what I did do every time was get back up. My get-up muscle's pretty strong. My get-up muscle's pretty strong. And so I don't care how many times you get knocked down. What I'm committed to is helping you get back up. So today, I'm in my upper right-hand corner now, y'all. Today, I travel the world, and I teach people how to turn their passion into profit, how to turn their dreams into their realities, how to get back up one more time, how to dance to their own beat, sing to their own song, find their own rhythm, do them no matter what, how to stop counting the knockdowns and just count the get-ups. That's what I do now. Y'all see the dip theory? You guys feel closer now? When Oprah's producer called me, she said, this was the question they asked every person in The Secret. As a result of knowing about the law of attraction, how is your life better now? And I assume that every expert went on to answer that question. Here's how it's better now. Well, knowing the dip theory, I said, because she already handled the high part for me, I'm in The Secret. I don't need to do that now. Most people try to do that. If you already have an introduction, don't build on that. Go right to the dip. You don't know how much time you have, right? So she said, she's calling me, so apparently that high part is kind of high, right? She said, now that you know about the law of attraction, how's your life better? I said, watch this. Well, Miss Yee, if you want to know how great my life is today, you first have to know what a mess it was before. I heard Scooby-Doo. Huh? 2 hours and 30 minutes later, my phone died on her. My phone died. And it was so dead that when I plugged it in, it wouldn't even boot up. It was like, no, you on timeout. You need a damn cool down. So by the time it finally booted up, an hour later, I checked my voicemail, and Miss Yee, after 2.5 hours, she's a producer for Oprah, her voicemail is, gosh, Lisa, I'm so sorry we got disconnected. That was such a great story. She said, so I just want to know, I hope that I can call you in the morning, 9 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time. And oh, by the way, I talked to another producer, while I was waiting on your phone to come back on. She had been calling me, trying to get my phone to come back on, because she liked the dip, y'all. Hello, you guys are trying to protect your dip. You trying to protect your dip. You trying to outrun your dip. You trying to make your dip sexy. You trying to mask your dip with who you are today. I need your dip to know that you are like me, that I'm not perfect and you're not perfect, so we're perfect for each other. I need your dip. Gift me with your dip. Don't rob me of your dip. Learn how to tell me your dip so that you don't leave me feeling dumped on, right? But share your dip with me, because that's our likeness. That's our likeness. And so by the time she called me the next day, she goes, I've talked to several directors. They're all so excited about you. I ain't even got to the other side yet, y'all. I'm just in the dip. Now, don't tell the dip as long as I told her to dip. I was just learning about the dip theory then. Don't do the whole 2.5-hour dip, all right? That's like a tunnel. That's a cave, right? That wasn't a dip. It was a crater, right? I didn't know. I was learning. Now I know. She said, would you be willing, get this, to tell that same story on national TV? Now, the way it was designed was there were just going to be 5 extras from The Secret on stage, and we all just shared a little bit. But it was my that had Oprah's producers change their plans. Now, I'm telling you this so you don't just think it's Lisa, it's the formula, right? Now, I'd like to think I have a little something to do with it because I'm obedient to the formula and the snazzle and the authenticity, but I promise you, you do it, your results will change. They then flew out to California and recorded my life story. They took me back to my middle school. They stood in front of my house in my old neighborhood. I hadn't even been back to my old neighborhood. I was like, are we going to get an escort? Oprah got escorts? I ain't trying to go back there. But that's how amazed they were with the dip. And then the third segment, they renamed, and the third segment was called the Lisa Nichols segment. And they showed my backstory. And Oprah just talked to me. How that resulted in business, within 72 hours of being on the Oprah Winfrey Show, I received 9,782 emails. Because when I got on Oprah, I also did the what? The dip theory. That one formula right there, that's worth the price of admission to A-Fest. Yes, yes? Yes, yes? And then the far right is just what you learned and who you are today. Most people want to spend time on both the corners. You guys get that? Here's my credit and here's my mission. Tell me why. Tell me what you have to climb out of. Tell me what built your character. Tell me what made you so strong. Tell me what demons you had to fight. Tell me how you climbed back up. Tell me that, because in that story, I'm somewhere on that rise. And I need to know that you know about that rise. Does that make sense? Most of you are afraid to go into the dip because you think you're going to get stuck in the dip. Don't worry, you're already out. Don't worry, trust us. Does that make sense, you guys? Jen, will you help me off the stage? Language is a gift. It's a gift designed to connect people's soul. And so often our words are used in ways that don't necessarily feel good. Some of the things that have hurt you the most came through words. The words you heard or the words you didn't hear that you wanted to hear. Words are the healing agent. I'm going to go back so you guys can twist your back a little bit. You can twist your back a little bit. I'm going to go back. And so I charge you, find your story. Stand on your story, not in your story. So oftentimes your story is that thing you're trying to get over, and yet it's that thing that's your platform. That thing, that deep, dark thing, it makes you a better, passionate person today. It's the reason why you're here. It's making yourself available, trusting your intimacy, trusting that we have the right to experience agape love so thick you can feel it. It's understanding that it has to start with you and your willingness to give me something I didn't expect for you to give me. I don't need the norm. I've had that. I want something so outrageous and so abnormal that it disrupts my being and my essence. And you call me to want to be a better woman. You call me to want to be a better man because I crossed your path. Your life doesn't belong to you. Your life belongs to the people who will come cross your path, and they need to be touched by you. Your story, it doesn't belong to you either. It was simply the experience given to you to build the tenacity, the resiliency, the determination that you needed so you can get to me and help me change my life because I met you. When you get it, when you get that it's not in your convenience that you're going to change the planet, it's in your convictions that you'll change the planet. And that your conviction and your convenience will never live in the same block, will never live in the same zip code. That it's in your convictions that you agree to be inconvenienced because you're convicted. I remember when I said yes that I'd tell that same story on Oprah. I remember pacing the floor, 4 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep the day I was flying to Chicago, knowing I was going to tell the story of my dip. And I didn't know if the world would accept me with my dip because it was dark. I had to say I had a lot of sex looking for a little love because I thought the room called love came through the door called sex. I'm never comfortable saying that, not even today, not even to you. But my conviction outweighs my convenience. Are you willing to play at that level? Are you willing to risk it all to gain it all? Are you willing? See, because that man called Dr. King, he was willing to risk it all. It was never convenient for him. That man called Nelson Mandela, he was willing to risk it all. It was never convenient. That woman called Mother Teresa, willing to risk it all. It was never convenient. That man called Mahatma Gandhi, willing to risk it all. It was never convenient. Suffer? No. But don't need it to be convenient. Are you willing? Today is where the rubber meets the road. This conversation is not meant to keep you comfortable. As a matter of fact, it's meant to make you uncomfortable. In any form of mediocrity, and any form of limiting beliefs. So something cracks open in you, and you realize I'm perfectly designed for such a time as this. It's not in my perfection that I can change the planet. It's in my imperfection that I'm perfect for this job. It's in my get back up, not avoiding being knocked down. It's in my get back up that I built my resiliency muscle. That makes me perfect for the job. It's not in my quivering yes. It's in my bold, blind yes that I serve the planet. It's not in the things that went right. It's in how I manage the things that went wrong. God, when you get that I need you to have had the dip. It's the dip that makes you delicious. I don't want somebody without a dip. That's a flat line. Not even a hospital like a flat line. I need the dip. The world needs the dip. Are you willing? Are you willing to serve the world like it's never been served before? Are you willing to give like you've never given? Are you willing to die to the old version of you so the new version of you can be born? Are you willing? Are you willing to be radical? Radical. Radical and unapologetic. Unapologetic about who you've been and unapologetic about who you're becoming. Are you willing to tell the world, I'm not asking for permission to do me anymore. I've decided to give y'all notice. You're just checking. You nervous about your yes right now. Yes, I think. Are you willing? Are you willing? Are you ready? Are you perfect for the job? With all your imperfections, are you perfect for the job? Are you willing to share your dip? Are you willing to take the dip? Are you willing to not take up real estate in the dip? Amen. I love you guys. Can you feel it? I love you. I love you. I love you because because, ... I love you because I don't know where you've been and I'm not keeping score of where you've been. I just love your showing up. I love you because if you get bold enough to take a step and you get to do a little bit of what I've been able to do and we all choose to do it, then my son has a better world. I love you because you're willing to show up and be a part of the solution. Still try to figure it out. There's some ways that I want to serve you, and I'll say this and then close with one more story, may I? So many of you have come to me asking, how can we work together? And I apologize if you feel like you haven't been able to see me enough, but I'm here now. I want to offer you one particular thing. There's many ways that I can serve you. There's many ways that we can coach you and support you, and we want to talk to you about that. We'll be at a table right here on the outside of the door. But for all the people who've come to me around speaking, I've created, some of you are already in it, you already jumped in, but we created a comprehensive program that just helps every single business owner build your speaking part of your essence and your strength. Every single person in this room. And it's called Accelerate Me. And it's designed to help you find your core message, help you build that dip theory, help you master your snap, super networking at accelerated pace, help you find out how do you impact your audience, help you touch people's soul, help you tie it into a product or a program, just help you with the art of language. You guys get that? Just help you with the art of language. That's my gift. In closing, my grandmother once shared with me, she said, in the heat of the night, I had to go outside and pick extra cotton for my mother. I woke up early in the morning and I picked some extra cotton for my mother again. I remember looking at my hands, my blisters bursting on my hands, wondering if this day will ever end. She said, I realized that the strongest part of me wasn't available to my circumstances. She said, I realized that even though my hands had blisters, even though my feet had blisters, that my human spirit was completely intact. My grandmother said, the things that I've gone through, I would never want you to experience, granddaughter. She said, but the resiliency it gave me, I'm so grateful for. She said, I realized that in the midst of a situation, the human spirit is unavailable to any circumstance. It's unavailable to the economy. It's unavailable to my marriage breaking down. It's unavailable to my child that I lost. It's unavailable to the things that went wrong. My human spirit is unavailable. She said, I didn't know that until I felt like I physically couldn't go on, and my human spirit stepped in. I looked at my grandmother and I didn't understand that I was 16. I said, Grandma, how do you keep going when it gets hard? How do you keep pushing? She said, you take up every other option off the table, baby. She said, you still make getting up optional. Make it non-negotiable, and you'll get up every single time. I said, Grandma, how do you do it when you feel like you're all alone and no one else gets your vision? She said, baby, when no one else gets your vision, it's because they're not supposed to, because God didn't give it to them. God gave it to you. I said, but grandmother, how do you do it when it feels like you're tired? She said, you're supposed to get tired, because then when you get tired and get back up, you knew you gave something that you didn't have before, and you'll never be the same. She said, you're going to run. I can see you. You're a gazelle. She said, you're going to walk fast. I can see you. You're a power walker. She said, you're going to crawl. I know I've crawled sometimes. She said, and there are other times you're just going to sit by the sideline and have to catch your breath. She said, it's all good. She said, a horse is a horse, a stallion is a stallion, but an Arabian night is an Arabian night. You, my friends, are Arabian nights. So whether you're running, walking, or crawling or sitting on the sidelines. It's my honor to serve you. My grandmother says, when you get my age, you're supposed to make sure the story is going to be good to tell. And while you're your age, you make sure you're making a good story. I'm looking forward to hearing your story. I love you guys.